Hello and welcome to another Optional Extra video. I'm Mitch and joining me is Russell, and we're taking a look at The Messenger, a game I've played for about 2 hours and I really enjoyed what I've played so far. So it nails the platforming, the gameplay, everything I love about that sort of game. I haven't really gotten to the big Metroidvania bits, but for the most part...
Wait, there's Metroidvania in this game?
Oh yeah, there's like floors, you can go back and stuff. But yeah, so I would already recommend this game very highly, but I'll now talk way more in depth about it because Russell wants to know more about it, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, all I've seen is the very brief trailer, and all I got from that is absolutely Ninja Gaiden not remake, but, like inspired by.
Yeah, it's very that ninja style, and it's very fast. You get into it very quickly, and it just doesn't really waste time, but it gets you straight into the idea that there's some time traveling involved, because for the most part, The Messenger's a 8-bit, like Shovel Knight kind of Metroidvania platformer thing, but at certain points that I haven't got to, it switches to 16-bit, so that later style, and I'm very excited to get up to there because that sounds very unique and interesting.
Does it switch the music to match?
Oh yeah, and like they even do the music switch when you go into the water, it like gets distorted and stuff.
Oh yeah, I do love when they have the music like impact through the environment, so it's very cool.
Yeah, to talk more about the whole gameplay of it, because the way they do it is basically when you attack something mid-air, you get a second jump. So that's kind of the main mechanic they use throughout the game.
Right, so it's basically attacking the enemy is giving you a double jump essentially, or is it how you jump?
Well, you can jump, and then you can also jump additional time so you can jump off enemies or projectiles. So I'm sure that mechanic gets really, really hectic. A bit like, I guess, Shovel Knight Spectre of Torment in a way, like very movement focused, and it's really, really nice to do because you don't feel like it doesn't feel weird. It just feels like a natural thing.
What's up? Something it's interesting when you mention like how it might get more complicated. Is it difficult right now, or is it kind of like ease you into it? Yeah.
I've first 2 bosses. For the most part, they really like show off when they're gonna do what. And if you've played kind of these games before, you can kind of work it out. But the first boss I fought kind of took me off guard a bit because it's basically an owl thing. I would describe it as an owl. It's not really an owl. It's just this leaf enemy that you attack, you knock back, then it throws a like boomerang of its protective layer, I guess, like it's leaves at you, and then you have to attack him, and he moves around and stuff. So that took me off guard. The second boss, I think, was better. I think it was a really interesting boss, and I didn't struggle with it, but I understood the mechanics pretty easily, I think, so far.
The Metroidvania stuff, is it like they introduce mechanics for the bosses, or you haven't even got there yet?
You're given an ability pretty early on, which is climbing floors, so you can climb up
grapple
walls.
on the edge. Yeah.
Haven't got any other abilities, but I assume later on you do get more. And I've seen places where you can obviously backtrack, so that's clearly a part of this game.
Is it? I'm guessing because it's got the Metroidvania inspiration, it's not level based, right? So it's not, you're not going to new sections, or
you sort of are actually. It's like when you go to a new area, it has this little load screen kind of saying what area you're in. So it is kind of level based like that, but you can go back. I'm not sure how you go back, but I know you can go back. So
it does feel like levels, but you definitely can return.
Yeah, so yeah, you definitely feel like you can go back, because there's stuff I can't do yet that I could clearly see that I should probably do, because there's like hidden collectibles throughout the whole game. There's about 44, they tell you, so I assume you have to be able to go back.
The other thing when I think of Ninja Gaiden games, I always think of like how irritating sometimes the enemy placement could be, where they like throw heaps at you once, and it's kind of like dodgy in that way sometimes. How is the enemy like design placement /
I felt early on it was a problem, because later on you can unlock ability where you can destroy projectiles, so
right, and
also jump off them. So before that I felt it felt really out of place, because if I tried to dodge them, there was too many projectiles, I couldn't. And I was like, this is going to get problematic, but very swiftly after they fixed that.
The other thing I noticed, I don't know what it ties into, is that there's a little demon thing that follows you around. What does that thing do?
That's basically the resurrection mechanic. So like, you don't die. It's just, so far as I know, it's a story thing. I don't think it...
Oh, so it does nothing in terms of... At least where you've played,
it doesn't feel like it does anything to me, but There is an ability you can upgrade that reduces how much he takes from you when you die, because like you've basically got, I don't know what they're actually called, but I'll just call them souls. A type of experience that you drop some of it when you die, I think. And that because you're giving it to that demon, because he's basically feeding off you.
How big a penalty is it? Like, do you go back miles, or
It
it's pretty
never
close?
felt like a lot. I don't think it ever really impacted buying upgrades, which you can buy upgrades.
All right. Well, speaking of that, what do the upgrades do? Or what is that?
There was the as I was speaking about the projectile knockback. That's an ability. You get shurikens. There's things that require that currency to unlock, and then there are things that are given to you, like the climbing claws.
Are there upgrades for the abilities you get? So, like, is there an upgrade for climbing claw now? That you have
Not that I can see. I'm pretty sure the tree looks very small right now, and which leads me to believe that there's got to be more to it later on.
So I'm guessing even with early days, I'm like, it's the anticipation what's on the horizon that's like really exciting.
Yeah, and like the combat's really fluid. It feels really good, and there's like some really cool sections where you just pull off awesome, like just reflecting the projectiles. Well, not reflecting, but hitting them away and just taking down enemies. I guess that's what Ninja Gaiden wants to do. It feels like a modern like version of that, because the risks of dying, like there's no game over. There's like you go back to a save point. It gets rid of the frustrations the earlier games in this style had.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I interpret that too, where it's like it's one of those games that does the right thing in my opinion, where it's borrowing old game design, but it's applying better, more usability user-friendly advantages of now. It's like it saves, constantly. It doesn't take you back to this starter levels. You have to replay the whole game.
Or the whole game. Or just restart the whole game, because like all games did that.
But yeah, I'd say initially I'm like, it just kind of looks like they're remaking Ninja Gaiden, or like kind of representing that style. But Metroidvania, I had no idea that was in this game. So that's certainly made me more interested. And you also mentioned to me like the music's really good.
Yeah, oh god, the music's in my head. Like there's just the one song from the first level. It's really catchy. They really get you in with that music.
Yeah, it's I love retro games like Shovel Knight's another one. Like we keep mentioning it, but it's like the music, like it's so inspired by the past, but also making like really good new music. And the Messenger is ticking a lot of boxes in my opinion, where it's like, Switch? Is it Switch only, or is it on?
No, it's on Switch. I played it on PC.
Sweet. Well, I'm excited for it. Anything else to say, Mitch?
The graphics are really nice. I like them, and I'm excited to see how swapping between the styles of games looks when it starts to happen, which I'm very excited about. Yeah, for the most part, from the moment I started playing it, I'm totally into it. And I think it gets more sci-fi the more you get into it, so that's another thing to be excited about if you like a little twist to your classic ninja games.
So is it story focused in a big way, or is it more just like the environment tells the story?
There is a story, but for the most part, it's not big. There's this, you're the messenger, so you have to take a scroll to the 3 sages on top of a mountain.
Very classic old game design.
Yeah. And there's this this hero from the West who's foretold to save the world from the demons, because there's demons. And that's the basic story to it. And I think there's going to be time travel involved and a whole bunch of things. So it's a very cool game with how it just juggles all this cool stuff and makes it really fun.
I guess the other thing I can think of is like comparatively to other Metroidvanias you've played in this month even, or last month, top of the list type thing, or?
I certainly think it might be, because there's nothing about it so far that has me gone, it's just like, I've been loving what I played for the short time I played it. There was no time I wasn't excited to keep playing it, so for me, this is probably my favourite Metroidvania this month, and I couldn't recommend it any more highly.
Well, there you have it. That sounds like one we should pick up. Oh, everyone should pick up.
But yeah, that's basically my thoughts on the Messenger. Thank you for joining me, Russell, and let me share my thoughts on this awesome game. And if you like this video, well, there's more on this channel right here at Optional Extras. So hopefully we'll see you again, and I'll see you on the next one.